So full moons come around every month, pretty much every 28 days. And you might wonder what the importance of doing a full moon ritual is, or you might even wonder if you need to do a full moon ritual. The truth is that you really don't. And you might already know about using full moon rituals for yourself. You may already make moon water or cleanse your crystals every full moon, or you might even take a full moon bath. You might even have a full moon altar that you create every full moon. But in today's video, I want to talk about how to clear stuck energy, how to clear these emotions that are kind of draining your spirit so that you can invite new energy into your life. If we haven't met before, welcome to the channel. My name is Francisca. I'm the owner of Breathe, Connect, Thrive, a healing studio here in Houston, Texas, where I help people release stuck emotions through conscious connected breath work, replenish their mind, body, heart, and soul in restorative yoga, get some clarity through personal self-discovery, tarot readings, and clear their energy, balance their chakras, release limiting beliefs, and ultimately create a life that they are happy to live through the chakra balancing breathwork journey. And if we have met before, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for whatever way it is that you support me in helping this channel grow. So today I'm going to be sharing my full moon rituals that I do to help me clear my energy and set intentions for the full moon. So we already know the full moon comes around every 28 days. Sometimes it's once a month. Every once in a while, it's twice a month. And then there's eclipses, and then there's what sign the full moon is in. And I'm not an astrologer or an astronomer for that matter. But I do want to talk about how you can clear your energy every full moon. And I really like the idea of using the full moon as a reminder that it's time to kind of clear out all this junk that you have, whether it's emotional junk or spiritual junk or whatever energy that this is taking up space in your life. I feel like it's super important to do that for multiple reasons, but let's start with the obvious. When you clear out space, you have more space. Sometimes we're not aware that we don't have the bandwidth or the energy to take on new things, and we just keep going and going and piling stuff on and piling stuff on without ever clearing stuff out. And if we have way too much stuff that we're carrying, whether it's emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, or whatever the case, if we have so much stuff that we're carrying, it's hard for us to get new things in and to allow new things into our lives. So that's one of the reasons that I feel like it's important. But why do it on the full moon? So the full moon is a really great time to illuminate any shadow stuff that's going on, because that's when the moon is brightest. The full moon also allows you time and space to bring the shadow into the light. So another reason that it's important to clear the energy for yourself on the full moon is so that you can close any open loops. So typically 6 months prior was a new moon for this full moon. So new moon in Aries, full moon in Aries. So the new moon is time to open, time to set intentions, and then the full moon is time to close, time to release, time to clean out. So you might even think of this as closing the loops of anything that you have open in your life. Like if there are things that are draining your energy, closing the loops on that is going to be helpful so that you can allow more things into your life. And once you release and cleanse, that's when you can set intentions that are going to be ones that'll stick with you. So it's kind of like if you're trying to plant seeds in bad soil or planting seeds in a flower bed that is already overrun with old things that are dying. So releasing those things can be really helpful, clearing them out, cleansing them out, doing that shadow work. So we have 12 houses in the zodiac sign, and it also depends on where the full moon lands in your chart. So for example, the full moon in Aries is closings and cleansings and time to set intention in my 11th house, because Aries is my 11th house. And so that's the house of friendship and communication and how you communicate with the world. But mostly friendships and, relationships and those kinds of things. So For me, this is a really good time to re-examine and to look at any of my friendships, any of my relationships that I feel like maybe could use some closing or maybe could use some care and attention, right? So here are some ways that I release, review, and cleanse my energy on the full moon. No surprise here, are one of the best ways that I have found to release energy that I'm holding on to, and energy that I didn't even know I was holding on to, is conscious connected breath work. Really, any open mouth breath work that you do laying on the floor. So any breath work that's connected, open mouth and laying on the floor. The reason that I say this is because I've tried lots of breath work, lots of pranayama, lots of different breathing techniques, but by far conscious connected breathing has been the one that really activates and helps me release stuff. It helps me release and realize some things that, again, I didn't even know I was holding on to. And it's not just me, my clients too. This is also the type of breath work that has also helped me get closer to my spirituality, closer to God, closer to the universe, closer to all that is. And it's actually the reason that I'm teaching breath work now, is because it is so fucking powerful. And just even thinking about that first experience that I had in conscious connected breathing or in transformational breath, where I was just connected to everything and everyone, and I was in and out and up and down and everything and nothing at all. That breathwork session really helped me realize, one, that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, but two, that there is so much stuff that we hold on to and that we don't even know that we're holding on to. And I've seen it not just with my personal breathwork practice, but also with other clients. And so what I've done is I've combined breath work with a full moon and a new moon ritual, but also have combined it with so many other things. But I feel like it's a really great modality to pair with releasing on the full moon, because full moons are about releasing. Full moons are about letting go. Full moons are about clearing things out, bringing the shadow to the light, right? And so in conscious connected breath work, what really happens is that there's realizations that you have sitting at the back of your mind, and you don't even know that you're holding on to those realizations. And the thing about it is that it helps you kind of put it to the front and center, and you're like, oh, I didn't know I was holding on to that. Or, oh, I didn't know I was taking responsibility for that. Or, oh, it doesn't have to be this way. Oh, it can be easy. Again, these are realizations that I have had, but also realizations that clients have had. And so you're able to release these energetic cords to people, places, and things that you didn't even know that you were carrying. But most of all, it allows me and my clients to forgive ourselves, to give ourselves grace, and to understand that it isn't as bad as we think it is. And also that everything's continuous. Like, even though everything outside of you can change, the breath is constant. You are constant. You yourself, the I am, is constant. And so I feel like that's a really good way to do some shadow work and to illuminate those things that we're hiding in the dark. And so again, full moon, time to illuminate, time to do the shadow work. Breathwork is a really great way to do that shadow work. And if you want to try breathwork, you can click on the link in the description box below to book a session either in person or online, or do a group session in person. But you can also watch the cord cutting breathwork practice, which I'll link up here somewhere in the video and down there in the description box, because cord cutting and full moon really go together. I feel like this is a really great way to kind of pair this theme of cord cutting, releasing those energetic cords to people, places, or things that no longer serve you, or people, places, or things that are draining your energy, and allows you to release that. And so I have a meditation, a breathwork meditation that I'll link up here somewhere and down here in the description box. So meditation is also a really good tool to use in your full moon releasing rituals and practices, because meditation allows you to go inward. And so while conscious connected breathing is, I feel like, more of an active, intense form of meditation, if you're someone who has a high-risk pregnancy, or someone who is has a contraindication to conscious connected breathing, then a full moon meditation might be the way to go. So meditation, again, allows you to get still, allows you to get quiet, allows you to get contemplative, allows for that contemplation. And meditation allows you to also bring the shadow stuff to the light. There's a reason why I did not make meditation a regular practice in my life for a long time. It wasn't just because I was falling asleep, but the falling asleep was the avoidance of what was actually there. Meditation can also bring the shadows to the light. And so before I did conscious connected breath work, I meditated daily. And meditations actually led to breath work for me. Well, guitar lessons, meditation, then guitar lessons, then breath work. But anyways, that's a story for another time, which I'll link here somewhere too. But meditation really does help bring the shadows to the light. So I find that another tool that's really great to pair with your full moon releasing ritual is journaling. So journaling is a really great way, either before or after breath work, before or after your meditation, before or after a long nighttime full moon walk. These are all really great ways to get what's going on in the mind and in the body out into paper, onto paper, into paper, onto paper. And what I feel is really great is if you start with a list of questions. What am I ready to release? Why am I ready to release it? How am I ready to release it? And so on and so forth. Burn letters. Talking about journaling, burn letters are really great to use on the full moon. There's so much cleansing energy in a fire, but also you can just build a fire and watch it, right? You can do a meditation while watching a fire burn safely, but burn letters are really great. So writing down all the things that you're ready to release on one side and then turning it over on the other side and what you'd like to invite in, tearing that letter up, burning it, and then either meditating or doing conscious connected breath work or going for a walk or moon gazing. Like all of these I feel like are really great ways to pair together, and I've done all of these things together for my full moon practice, and it's just so liberating and so freeing to write down on paper what you want to release and write down how that doesn't serve you, and just set a timer for like 5 minutes and just write, keep writing. If you have a lot of stuff to get out, then maybe you set the timer for 10 minutes or 11 minutes or 11, whatever feels right for you. But I feel like the act of then tearing it up, like tearing up those old things that don't serve you, then burning it, and then doing breath work, I feel like that is just so powerful. And I've seen some of the biggest transformations happen when clients do that here in the studio, and clients do that wherever they're at. And it just feels so liberating to do that, to just release that part of you. So there's also the descansos process. So the descansos process was created by Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estes, the author of The Women Who Run with the Wolves. And she talks in there about this process that she used to use with her clients, where she'd have them write down all of the times that they felt like their life was cut off, all of the times where they felt like they hit a path, a fork in the road, and they had to go a different way than what they wanted to go. She states in there that as women, but also men, but mostly women, because it's about women who run with the wolves, but she states in there that women have died 1,000 deaths before they were even 20. And there are these little deaths that haven't been honored. And so if you feel like there's little deaths that you haven't honored in your life, times where you felt like the road was cut off for you, times where you felt like you had to say yes when you really meant no, or you had to say no when you really meant yes, and you had to go a different way, then a part of you may have split, and you may not have forgiven that part. You may have been forsaken, or it may have been forgotten. So the descansos process is also a really great modality to introduce in your full moon releasing ritual. Tarot and oracle spreads. Oh my God, I love using tarot and oracle when it comes to full moon and new moon, but we're talking about full moon because sometimes we know what we need to release, and sometimes we're not really sure, And sometimes we just need guidance. And that's what I love tarot for, and oracle for personal self-discovery. I feel like this is validation from our spirit, from God, from source, from the universe, to help us see what we can't see with our conscious mind, and to see with the subconscious and allow the subconscious to rise and give us this visual representation of what's going on subconsciously. I actually have some tarot cards here, so let me see. So for example, like I just pulled the 5 of Wands, like what might be going on, like what might minor scuffles and things like that, or minor problems are happening in your life, in my life, that we're not paying attention to, that we're not listening to, that is slowly draining our energy. What kind of tower moments are we having that we need to release, right? And so it might just mean that we need to do some of this hermit energy, which is really beautiful. Like this is like my idea of a very efficient full moon ceremony. Like write some stuff down, tear it up, burn it, and then lay down and do some breathing, so that you can leave the past behind you. And so these are things that I love doing with the full moon, adding in a tarot or oracle spread. If you can do it based on the moon in the astrology chart, like where that full moon lands, then that's great. But you don't have to. You can ask the same questions every full moon. Like, what do I need to release? How can I release it? What's my energy this full moon? What new things are coming into my life? How can I help plant those seeds, or how can I help those seeds grow? These are really great questions. Again, you can also use those journaling prompts as tarot spreads, because really a tarot spread is just asking certain questions of the tarot or the oracle, which is why I love combining breathwork and tarot and oracle and sound baths, which I'll talk about in a bit, and burn letters. And what I like to do with tarot and oracle before and after breathwork is pull a set of cards before to kind of help bring up these things. Again, the burn letter, bring up these energy, these emotions, these things that we're holding on to, so that you can release them in the breathwork, and then pull some cards afterwards. So what I like to typically pull afterwards is kind of guidance and direction on where I can take this newfound information, these realizations that have come up in breathwork or in my practice and meditation. I'm just going to say breathwork because for me it's breathwork. What has come up there, and then pull cards afterwards. Like, how can I now take this information? How can I take these realizations and these downloads that I've gotten in breathwork? How can I now use them and implement them in my life going forward? Like, what advice do I need? Now I know what the problem is. Now I know perhaps what the solution is. How can I implement that in my life? And that's typically what I ask afterwards, or what kind of guidance do I need at this point? But I really love that combination of pulling tarot first, and then doing burn letter, and then doing breath work, and then pulling tarot or oracle afterwards. I really, if I can, love doing this at the beach, because that is another way that you can do some cleansing and releasing during the full moon, which is a salt water bath. So I say beach because I live 45 minutes away from a beach in either direction. And so I could also go to the lake, and I think it's a saltwater lake, but I don't really go up north. I usually go southeast and go into Galveston, and I just love sitting on the sand. I love writing a letter and tearing it up and drawing a heart in the sand and kind of digging it up and creating a space to burn that letter. I really love sitting there and watching the sunset. I love watching the moon rise, and I love dipping myself into some salt water and just cleansing myself. And I know people are going to say Galveston's gross, but the truth is that it is a natural body of water where you can release and cleanse. So salt water has so many benefits, but one of the biggest benefits is to energetically cleanse the body, energetically cleanse, and just the act of allowing that water to rush over you, especially after you've done a burn letter, especially after you've done breath work, especially after you pulled some tarot or oracle. And if you don't want to take your tarot or oracle cards to the beach, you don't have to. You can always pull up an app and pick a card from there, and that's good too. So I've not done that personally, but what I have done is listen to meditations on the beach. This is before breath work, before I knew about breath work. But I've also done breath work on the beach, which if you can find a secluded space where you can really let go, then that's really beautiful too. Or if you're renting a beach house, nobody's gonna know what you're doing on the deck of the beach house. And it's just a really beautiful experience to be out in nature and to do that and to release all of these things and then go get in the ocean and just let that ocean just cleanse you of all of those things underneath the light of the full moon. I mean, 100% recommend. So another tool that you can use in your full moon releasing rituals are sound bowls. And so sound bowls are really great, this resonant energy that allows you to release on a cellular level. So there's so many benefits to sound bowls and sound baths. I love using the crystal bowls, and depending on how big my class size is, typically it's not more than 5, but depending on how many people I have in a full moon, semi-private group breath work, I let some of my clients play the sound bowls, and it just feels really nice to just kind of play that sound bowl and let that resonant music kind of rise up so you can really feel the resonance of the sound bowls, really feel the resonance of the music just flowing up inside of you, and really feel the vibrations that happen and really allow them to cleanse away those things that just don't serve you anymore. So Palo Santo is another really great way to cleanse your energy and cleanse your space in a full moon releasing ritual. And Palo Santo translates into holy stick. So by burning it, by combining the fire element with the Palo Santo, with this holy stick, it allows you to clear the energy, to cleanse the energy, and to combine both with the burning of a letter, burning of intentions, I believe is super powerful. So Palo Santo helps to clear this physical space, but also clear your energetic space too. And I combine almost every single one of these aspects in my full moon oracle sound bath breathwork sessions. I also do this on the new moon, but in the full moon, it's more about releasing. We do burn letters, typically. We do oracle always. We do breathwork always. We do the sound bath always. And there is, for some people, time for journaling. So some people like to journal instead of doing oracle, and that's fine too. So all of these combined are what I use in my full moon releasing rituals. So I hope that this information resonated for you, and I'd love to hear from you. What of these tools will you use in your full moon releasing ritual? Let me know in the comments below. That's it for now. I'll see you next time. Bye.